This is the Holy Gospel according to St. John, the 10th chapter. Glory to you, Lord. Jesus said, I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd lays down his life for the sheep. The hired hand, who is not the shepherd and who does not own the sheep, sees the wolf coming and leaves the sheep and runs away. And the wolf snatches them and scatters them. The hired hand runs away because the hired hand does not care for the sheep. But I am the good shepherd. I know my own, and my own know me, just as the Father knows me and I know the Father. And I lay down my life for the sheep. I have other sheep that do not belong to this fold, and I must bring them in also, and they will listen to my voice. So there will be one flock, one shepherd. For this reason the Father loves me, because I lay down my life in order to take it up again. No one takes it from me, but I lay it down of my own accord. I have power to lay it down, and I have power to take it up again. I have received this command from my Father. This is the gospel of our Lord. Praise to you, O Christ. Y'all may be seated.
Microphone, okay.
I think we have.
Yeah, great. I'll use this mic.
In the back.
I'll get you
Thanks,
mine.
Katina. I can only holler so loud.
Yeah.
And then you place somewhere. And then you turn that one off. And they will
Hello.
can hear.
Is this good? Did that make a difference? Great. Thank y'all so much for having me here. It's been great. The oysters were awesome last night. I didn't expect that, but that was my first time with the oysters. So thank you for that. I think I got a few of them that were good at least. The rest of them, I don't know if I opened it enough. But thank you for being here. Pastor Miho hadn't told me how much money you'd raised for me, so that was humbling for me to hear how much y'all raised, not just for campus ministry in Clemson, but all around the state. And that is so special. I would have come out here for $10. But it's so great for y'all to have raised so much for us and for so many college students across the state. I was talking a little bit earlier about the way that it works in this synod. And anytime you send mission support to this synod, a lot of that money does come to campus ministries. So every year you are supporting us with your finances, but also with your prayers and just even thinking about us. So thank you for that. And this year especially, you've done some extreme generosity. So thank you. It's just such a special thing to be here. So I am from Clemson. For those of you that don't love Clemson, I'm sorry. But I also come to show gratitude from all of our campus ministries across the whole state. I know in South Carolina, in Gamecock Lutheran, they thank you too, and any others in the state as well. So thank you for that. These words in the gospel story for today are such a gift from Jesus. I am the good shepherd. This image here is that Jesus is gentle and attentive, that he guides us and keeps us safe, that we are never as alone or lost as we might be feeling whenever we find ourselves wondering or wandering in our faith, looking for some kind of hope to grab onto in the chaos of the world around us. Maybe these are some words that we can keep in our back pockets. I am the good shepherd. I know you and I love you. Listen to me, follow me, and I will give you peace. I'm a city boy. I don't know much about farming, but a few years ago, I learned a new word and a concept about shepherding. There are some shepherds that use a technique called hefting to tend to their sheep. Hefting. So they feed them, they protect them, they keep their woolly coats trimmed like any other sheep farmers would. But these particular shepherds also spend time teaching their sheep to find safety and comfort in a certain area without using fences. It's called hefting. They keep a close eye on their sheep. They develop this deep sense of trust. They're able to create this invisible boundary where the sheep live together. Obviously, that can take years and infinite patience for the shepherd. But after a while, they start to understand where they can find shelter and food and community that the sheep know that they need to survive. And then after generation, they pass that wisdom down to the younger ones. It's pretty incredible, hefting. Sheep are prone to wander. There must be something in their brains or deep inside of their bones that makes them curious. Maybe they're just perpetually hungry, always looking for more grass. It doesn't take much for sheep to put themselves in danger. And so this idea of being hefted is fascinating. There's something incredibly powerful that keeps them bound to this herd of sheep that they're with, or to this plot of land. Now, doesn't that sound a lot like the kind of shepherding that Jesus is doing with all of us? He invites us into this flock. He tends to our needs. He feeds us, gives us something to drink. He pays attention to our every move, picks us back up when we fall. He gently calls out to us when we start to stray too far away. He brings us back in, shows us once again where we can find safety or where we might be more at risk. And there's something deep inside of us that feels like peace and comfort, almost like a warm embrace whenever we are where we are supposed to be. Really sounds like Jesus is hefting us. This is an image that I hold on to tightly when I try to tell folks about what our campus ministry is like. On a college campus, you can imagine, or maybe you can remember, what kinds of wandering you can get into. Young adults show up at college, they're excited, they're eager to explore some of their independence. They join maybe 1,000 different student groups to make new friends and try new things. They try to remember to stay on top of basic tasks like eating regularly or doing their laundry, sleeping just a little bit, keeping up with their personal hygiene. They're doing all of these things on top of what they're there for, their homework, their tests, their exams, what they're paying for. In the exhaustion of trying to juggle all of these different things, students show up in our ministry looking for peace. Maybe the first time they show up for a multitude of reasons. They want a free meal because they're hungry. They show up because their parents told them they have to go to church at least once in their 4 years. Maybe they show up because a friend or a classmate have invited them to come together. Whatever the reason is that they walk through the doors, they stay because they find something meaningful in that community, something that they want to keep finding. And so like a sheep who is being hefted by a shepherd to a certain plot of land, students over and over again find the love and the rest and the encouragement that they're looking for in a ministry like ours. And eventually, they learn to show up because it's a place in a community where they're fed and they're cared for in ways that might not be happening somewhere else on campus. When I first heard about shepherds who use this hefting technique with their sheep, I did a deep dive and I read everything I could about shepherds. And everything I read about hefting used words like belonging or inclusion or close connection to talk about the sheep and their communities. It's more than just a survival instinct for them. There's something deep down that keeps them bonded with the flock around them. And that's the kind of campus ministry that we try to create each year on campus and off campus, all over the state. This part of the sermon that I hear from Jesus in the gospel today gives me goosebumps, where he says, I know my own, and my own know me. Ask yourself, what does it feel like to really be known? It's scary a little bit. It's a vulnerable thing to let somebody know you. To turn off whatever facade you put on so that in public you come off as a certain way. To take that off and to simply be yourself. To be the good parts of yourself, the bad parts of yourself, the ugly parts of yourself. To be known and to still be loved. That's the kind of knowing that Jesus is talking about. And the kind of knowing that it takes for Jesus to create a sense of belonging like we feel in a church like this or wherever we are in our lives. Again, you can imagine or you can remember what college is like. There are so many different voices on a campus asking you whether or not you are enough. Are you smart enough? Are you attractive enough? Are you athletic enough? Are you outgoing enough? Are you wealthy enough? Are you enough? She's sweet. Are you enough? When folks show up in a campus ministry, the first thing that we try to tell them is, you are enough. You are enough exactly the way that you are. No more, no less. And how freeing that must be. When professors are always telling you that you have to be more, or when your friends are always asking you to be more, you show up in a place and you are already enough. On campus, in the classroom, that might not be the case, but within the boundaries of our community, you are a beloved and special child of God. I'm here this morning to take a little deep dive into what it means to be in a shepherding flock with Jesus, to talk about what that might feel like. I'm also here to tell you a little bit about our campus ministry, about the students that we care for, how we do it, why we do it. I'm also here to hope that you can hear a little bit of our story and see some of it in yourself. Where are you feeling known and hefted and loved in different ways in your life? One more little tidbit about sheep. I love that they teach each other this hefting from generation to generation. The mothers teach the children, the friends teach new sheep that come in and want to be a part of the flock. That is what we are called to do as people of faith, to feel that sense of belonging, and then to share it outside of the walls of a place like this or St. Nicholas down the road, outside the walls of our campus ministry, to share it wherever we are in the world. Our students are leaders on campus. They come to our church for a meal or for worship, but then they are a part of student government, or they're in leadership in other student groups, or they're mentors in their classes. And so all of the hefting and belonging that we have in our ministry spreads all over campus. And then the dream is that it spreads wherever they go when they graduate. If they're doing young adults in global mission and going all over the world. One of our alums, Amanda, is here. She lives in, sorry to call you out. She's in the back. She lives in Beaufort, works for Extension and does ministry that way. It's just a great thing to see where they go afterwards and how this ministry doesn't just last for 4 years, but it lasts a lifetime. So again, thank you. Thank you for the money, for sure. That helps a lot to feed our students, to go on retreats. We're going to the beach after exams to try to celebrate. Thank you for that. Thank you for your prayers and your support. And thank you for inviting me here today to be a part of your life, at least for a day. So, amen.